Okay, boys and girls, I think we're live now, and a lot of things have happened. Dr. Dan just did a video that we need to address, and he is in the chat, and he may come in. And the other thing is that we have to get to that MDD debate, and we will get to it sometime during this, but we may have to cover some other stuff first. So apologies for anybody that came over just for that. Please don't unsub me.
Well, and to be fair, there's very little left to go over as far as that debate. I mean, there's quite a few minutes left in the debate, but the only thing that we're going to cover when we do get to it is we're going to back it up a little bit and hear that argument again, because there's people here. I want to get their opinion. I'm sure
Yep.
I'm sure Speed does too, about the contingency argument that Canadian Catholic laid down, not the normal contingency argument.
Yeah.
It was the contingency of contingent beings or something like that, wasn't it, Speed?
Yeah, okay, but right at the top here, I have to cover something. I had to eat my cat because I told John Maddox that I would eat my cat if he paid the $500. And he paid the $500, so I had to eat Thor. I flipped a coin. It was a fair coin, and Thor lost. And I videotaped it, but PETA asked me not to put it on the channel. So there's no real proof that I ate my cat. But, you know, I'm a man of my word.
Yeah. So, did someone actually crack the code and win the $500?
Dr. Dan.
Really, Dr. Dan? Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, I'm surprised that you don't know this. I mean,
I have not been paying attention to the Maddox saga, so I really hope Dr. Dan comes into the StreamYard to chat a little bit of the recent discussion.
That was cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, I just love how poetic it is that Dr. Dan won the $500.
Yeah, it is absolutely great. And Maddox actually put out the money, which had to really hurt.
And Leo Filius is flabbergasted by that in the live chat.
Yep.
I have this picture of Maddox going around Nashville, maxing out credit cards, trying to come up with the $500.
Yeah.
How much, Scott? How much blood? How many times do you think he went and gave blood this week?
Him? Probably.
Yeah.
Times. He was probably very pale at the ATM.
How much do you get for a pint these days? It used to be like $15.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Yeah, $20 and a cookie.
Yeah, $20 a cookie. Anyway, I was shocked that he actually paid out, but I think we kind of embarrassed him into it. But as far as anybody else cracking the code,
yeah,
kudos for Dr. Dan for taking the time to do that, but why would anybody do that? I don't know. I looked at it and I thought, okay, I could get into this and it would be fun, but I got papers to read, and that's what I did. And I'm glad Dr. Dan took one for the team and went ahead and did it. Awesome.
Well, I know, because you got to know that Maddox thought he was going to stump the world.
Yeah, he was gonna.
Even though he claims he knew someone would solve it.
Oh, and then he went on with this bullshit argument about code, and he was going to teach us communication theory, and he put a bunch of slides up, and I don't think he really covered anything that was a big surprise to anybody. I don't know. It was just stupid. The whole thing was Maddox was he was trying to make a point somehow with this, and I think he just fell flat on his face. Of course, he won't see it that way, but yeah, it was pretty amazing. Anyway, do you have a link to that debate, John?
Oh, since Dan's not here yet, you want to?
Well, I'm not sure. I think David wanted to talk a little bit about the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll make sure you get that by the time we get there.
Okay. So, David, the Lenski experiment. I mean, there's a lot of aspects to that. There are I think 150 papers now on that Lenski experiment, and
yeah, it's an impressive experiment. And I give Dr. Lenski the kudos for powering through the experiment for so long.
Yeah.
I think he ought to win a Nobel Prize for that alone. But I digress.
Can I ask something really quick? What is the Lenzi experiment?
Oh, that's the bacteria experiment where Lenski has run what 100,000 generations now. Is he up that high, or is it 60 yet? He's taken a bacteria and he saves every single culture. He freezes it, so we have a historical record of the evolution of, like we're going to have like 100,000 generations of bacteria mutating in a very, very narrow medium. He has a very narrow environment. And one of them was that the citrate thing, basically a citrate gene reproduced itself, and the regulation part of the gene did not reproduce accurately. So the citrate was on in I think, an oxygen environment, or was it? Yeah, I think when it went anoxic, it was supposed to turn on. I always get that backwards. But anyway, so what happened is the bacteria were able to metabolize citrate when all the glucose ran out, and they kind of bounded ahead. So there was a duplication, which is a increase of information, but the creationists looked at it as a decrease of information because the regulatory mechanism did not duplicate, so it didn't happen.
Well, that's just dumb.
But anyway, that is just one change that they found in the bacteria. There's tons of others, and for the next 100 years, we're going to be taking these genomes and looking in just utter detail at everything that happened, and it's an incredible database. And that was the point of the experiment. It wasn't to show that a frog was going to crawl out of the flask, as the creationists thought. So anyway, but you got to read 150 papers to be able to comment intelligently on it. Dr. Dan did pretty damn good against Carter, I think. I don't know. What do you think, David?
Yeah, so I love the Lenski's long-term experiment. Creationist response to it shows their utter ignorance to basic evolutionary biology and population mechanics. And I just love how irreducible complexity is just being shot down time and time and time again. So yeah, I honestly think irreducible complexity is a worse argument than genetic entropy, just because of how many times it's been observably refuted.
Yeah. So James Carter is over on Cell's channel now doing the after show. So very interesting. Anyway, it's all worth looking at.
So David, I have a question for you, not necessarily related to Dr. Dan's stream, but so when creationists, a lot of them always say, well, why don't we see any transition fossils? How far off the mark are they when they claim that there's no transitional forms in evolution?
Let's just say that their response is about as wrong. If you were to put the correct answer at one end of the universe and the wrong answer at the other end of the universe, it will go well beyond that point. So,
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. They clearly don't know what a transitional species is when they say, show me a crocoduck. Yet we don't expect to find a crocoduck, and if we did, that would be trouble for evolution.
Right.
Yeah. And here's a good comment. Just a walking fish. I think genetic entropy is worse. It's refuted every day just by the fact that populations exist and aren't declining. Yeah, that is true. Because we have over 100,000 generations of E. coli, and that has to go back hundreds of millions of years, and they're doing just fine.
Well, and don't they, along with that, denying that there are, transitional forms, that they seem to have these expectations that are unrealistic as far as the fossil record itself. Because
Exactly.
we have a lot of fossils, but comparative to the amount of living creatures that have been around for time immemorial, the fossil record is actually a pretty special thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is one of the most powerful lines of evidence for evolution. We see exactly what we would expect to see. We see the older layers with microorganisms, and then getting complex over time, and so forth. And we never find a human in the Jurassic, and we never find a rabbit in the Precambrian. So this is exactly what we would expect to see under evolution, but it's not what we would expect to see under young Earth creationism. The thing that young Earth creationism is the only pseudoscience that is literally refuted by every single field of science. There is not a single fact in all of science that comes close to confirming young Earth creationism.
Cool.
Damn camera. Anyway, I'm distracted by my camera. It keeps fuzzing me out. I don't know why. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was watching a documentary yesterday on dinosaur fossils in Alaska, the Denali National Park, and there was another one. There's a north face of a mountain or whatever, and they were talking. They were showing basically Alaska 70 million years ago, and it was really a cool documentary. Maybe I can find it and link it. Did you anybody else happen to catch that?
No, I haven't caught it.
Isn't Denali the one where they found some footprint problems or something, or was that Denali National Park?
Was that the one where there was a dinosaur footprint that a human footprint supposedly was over top of?
I thought that was in the Middle East or in Crete or something like that, or the Mediterranean. But anyway, it was a really interesting documentary, and Alaska was actually 10 degrees further north back then. Yet there were dinosaurs, and it was the average temperature was 45 degrees Fahrenheit around that time. And they keep finding more and more fossils. And the question about the missing links is they're just putting them together. I mean, they're finding millions of fossils, and we're putting together more and more of that history as we dig into it. So it's just give it time. Fossils are rare.
Hey, I missed the show, right? Did I miss the show?
Your mic is weak and you're scratching really bad. Scratchy. No, we can't hear you at all. Something wrong with your mic. I'm not sure. Nope, can't hear you, Demeter.
If you can hear us, to answer your question, you didn't really miss the show. We delayed it because of Dr. Dan's discussion with James Carter.
Yep. Which was on Lenski's bacteria.
Yep. I don't know. Is that supposed to be like a full debate or just a discussion?
I think it was just a discussion, but he brought a slideshow like it was a debate.
Well, that's a really good question, David, too, because at what point does a discussion where two people disagree become a debate?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yep. Anyway, let's see, what else do we have to cover? Well, okay, we got the modern day debate thing we got to look over. And then we have a little bit by Danny on Maddox's channel last night, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because, and I'm wondering, okay, we have Leo, we have Danny.
Yeah. What did Danny do last night?
Oh, he was on Maddox's channel, and they were talking about Leo and how one of them suggested that Leo had a man crush on Danny. And then they went on and they made that sound like that was really a dirty thing, really a horrible thing. And Danny just stood there and took it, and just kind of rolled with it. Now, if we had done that to him, what do you think he would have done with us? I mean,
make 30 videos about how horrible you are and that we're a bunch of clowns. And
so I'm wondering why he keeps letting Christians treat him that way, or basically get away with anything, and then he comes over here, and it just seems like a real double standard. And if anybody thinks it's a double standard that I put him in the back room continually, well, this is one of the reasons, because I listen to these late night streams and I hear things. So,
well,
I don't know.
I can tell you, the Raging Atheist He thought Danny. He thought until like yesterday when I told him he thought Danny was a Christian.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of how he presents himself. So
Hey, I wanted to mention something real quick. Brainbug suggested that maybe we mention his call out of Matt Powell
yes,
to do a debate on his channel earlier.
I actually already did that on this show at 2:00, but I will do it again and make sure. Okay, this is really an interesting little video here on Brainbug's channel. I just posted it, so do go check that out. And
Sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to get that in there.
He's only got 23 likes, so give him more, like 49 views and 23 likes. That's pretty damn good. It's 50%. So anyway, but okay, I don't know what else we want to do. Can we hear you yet, Demeter? No, we can't hear you. You are totally silent. Your mic is off. I don't know why. Still off.
So
Try
go ahead.
exiting out and coming back in.
Yeah, try resetting.
Yeah, because I'd like to.
Ooh.
Cheap. Try it with Capital One shopping and then tell me what you think.
Well, you Capital One shopping. I hear the shopping channel, but I can't hear you. Something is really wrong with your. Let me see what we got here. Edit mic settings. Automatically.
That was me. Sorry about that.
Oh, that was.
But so yeah, like as far as if Demeter can get his mic working, I'd really like to hear what Demeter and Dave think of that argument we listened to from what's his name earlier. And that was the only thing I wanted to cover and get the room's ideas about that. And then there's one spot where they mention where Hogan mentions that he doesn't ascribe to naturalism, which I thought was interesting because Danny, has been talking about that lately, and we all kind of like balk at that. But apparently he's not the only one. So
yeah. So no. You're still just horrible, Demeter. We can't hear anything but static from your mic. Can you leave and come back? Maybe try to reset it? Maybe the connection isn't working?
Yeah, we see your lips moving, Demeter, but we're not hearing anything.
Okay, so he's going to try coming back in.
But so, yeah, which did you want to do first? You mentioned several things there.
I don't know. I'm not in charge. Am I in charge?
Yeah, this is your channel, dude.
Oh, shit, I don't want to be in charge.
And that's great. That's so funny you say that, and then there's certain people in the audience that are going to take that the wrong way. But
there's too much pressure. Way too much pressure.
Yeah, I am exhausted. I am heading out for a little bit because I am exhausted.
Okay, David.
Get some rest and maybe play a little Breath
anyway,
Wild.
I've noticed, David, I've noticed that you've had videos and I've missed them. And I think I'm signed up. I rang the bell, but you should come over here and plug your videos any time from 2 to 4 every day. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just plug in my last video. I did a debate with the infamous Nephilim Free, everyone standing for Truth channel, and it's now published. It just got mirrored to my channel the other day. So
I did see that one.
Well, and everybody, if you're going to go watch that debate, make sure and give David's channel the view.
Yes.
Yep. Give my channel some views.
Yep. Instead
and David,
of
your buddy's in chat too. Your buddy from the earlier Dr. Dan's video.
Yep. Well,
Harry.
I'm just going for him.
Yeah.
And yep.
Okay.
But yeah, that was quite the train wreck of the debates.
Yeah, you can always count on a shit show when Nephilim's there. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm speaking. Gotta channel my inner Kamala Harris.
Did you have any ear damage from all the whistling?
What was that?
The whistling.
Did you get any ear damage from all the whistling?
A little bit.
Oh my God. So Vesta said it would cost $10,000 to replace her tropical fish. My brother lost his in Texas because his tropical fish froze in Texas.
Oh,
It was John, send me the link, and I'll do the video for my side because the audio is better.
Well, all right. Hang on a second.
We're gonna do it that way. We're gonna do it the right way.
Okay, we'll do it live.
We're gonna do it the right way. Let me get my shit together. We're gonna go to the default port. We're going to try to pause all videos. Did you put it? You're putting it in private chat or?
Yeah. Wait a minute. What the hell is hell? Not copy.
Switch over.
Trying to copy it instead of pasting it. There it is. It's in the private chat right now. Speed.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, we went over this both on the Rage and here on Answers in Atheism on Friday. And then Speed and I were on the Rage this morning and did a little bit of it. We were on for an hour and a half. We talked about a few things at the top of the show, but we were on for an hour and a half and we got through 10 more minutes of video. And the only thing left of interest is just the 2 points I brought up. And the one we're actually going to, back it up a little bit and listen to his argument again. Speed, did you find that it written in the comment section?
I didn't, but his argument is so bad it isn't even worth covering. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a bunch of premises trying to make, trying to pull in the first cause. This is the whole precept thing, with modality and trying to make the, contingent beings were contingent beings. There has to be a being that caused us, and that being has to be a necessary being in order to cause all the other contingent beings or something like that. But it didn't make a whole lot of sense. So.
They just say it's a mind, not just a being.
They said being, so I don't know. Yeah. On
the Praises channel, when I was talking to Gavin, he said a mind created the quantum realm or something.
Yeah.
And usually, like the argument of contingency that people use is like facts being contingent to one another, right? I mean, because he right up front.
Yeah.
Right up front, he said, well, I'm not talking about that argument.
Yeah, he was trying to pull kind of a fast one, sort of. I don't know. Let's see. Weather report. Why is that not? Okay.
Well, I mean, if you think that it's not worth going over that argument, and be boring for like Demeter and Scott and all that.
Yeah, I don't think.
I mean, the only thing I'd like to listen to then is, and then we can say we're done because there's really nothing worth listening to beyond that, is in the question and answer period, we decided we weren't gonna listen to that anyway. But yeah, if you go to 128, when you get it straightened around, Sal is talking about something, and then when he gets done, it's either Detroyer or Pogan to jump in to respond to him and says that they don't necessarily believe in that naturalism, something to that effect, kind of like Danny. I thought that would be interesting to listen to because kind of surprised me. Because Danny was the first time I had ever heard, anybody that's an atheist say that they don't believe in naturalism, but.
Yeah, there's a few of them out there. There's a few that will push back on physicalism or whatever, and I don't know. Oh, I've got a bunch of bookmarks on this thing. I don't have any after 54, so okay. So should I play it?
Yeah, go to 128.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
Checks here really quick. I think we're just talking.
Oh shit! Hold on. Okay, let me guess. I screwed up. Okay, going ahead.
Each other at an impasse. I'd like Sal to actually finish up here with what he wanted to conclude with, and then we got to go to super chats and questions.
And thank you, gentlemen. It's been a compelling discussion. It's
right.
nice to hear people talk about Cantor. One of my degrees is in mathematics, so it was refreshing to hear this. I'm going to point out the question of what rationality is. This is a quote by Haldane, and it's been echoed by Platinga. It seems to me immensely unlikely that mind is a mere byproduct of matter. For if my mental processes are determined wholly by the motions of atoms in my brain, I have no reason to suppose that my beliefs are true. They may be sound chemically, but that does not make them sound logically. And hence I have no reason for supposing my brain to be composed of atoms. Platinga took this and extended it and said, there's an inherent problem with even defining rationality in a purely naturalistic worldview. And I know that there are probably some subtleties where we have atheists who are not naturalists. I know there are all sorts of flavors. But the question is then, does the term rationality even hold in a naturalistic worldview that rejects God? I mean, you're going to have some sort of alternatives. But if you're going to admit alternatives like to God, like say panpsychism or some other non-naturalism, then if that's rational, then it's rational to also believe in God.
There's some
Yeah, I
dumb
mean,
shit.
I personally don't hold to the view that naturalism is true. So, I mean, you kind of alluded to that already. You acknowledge there are going to be atheists that don't assert naturalism.
Foreskin.
But Troyer is a physicalist, so I'll let him respond directly to what you
Foreskin?
Yeah. Like, what the hell did I listen to before?
When?
Like, just now talking about physicalism and like what?
Yeah, I don't understand how anybody can be this dense. That because it's all chemicals, then we have to refer to chemistry in order to talk about our own reason and rationality. I mean, we know what we are. We know we reason. We know we breathe. How do you define breathing in terms of chemicals? I mean, if it's all chemicals, then obviously we aren't breathing, right? I mean,
I can believe that my brain isn't made out of matter. Okay, well, you want to deny reality? Be my guest.
Yeah. And it's okay, there's emergence, there's supervenience, there are all sorts of hierarchical things, but at the end of the day, we're human beings. We have morality. It's built into our nature. It's what we do. We all communicate with each other. We communicate just fine. We reason just fine. And they say, oh, if it's all chemicals, that couldn't be true. Well, they're using some kind of idea from reductionism that we're gonna reduce it and we're gonna say it's all chemicals. Well, if you're saying it's all chemicals, what that is a human mind making squeaky sounds. That it's all chemicals. They don't get it at all. And
why are they so afraid of that? Sorry to interrupt you, but why are they so afraid of that?
You love to interrupt me. I must get you excited because you always, yeah. Okay. Anyway, why is it so difficult to understand emergent, basically behaviors or hierarchical systems where there would be emergence? I don't understand why they can't get their little minds around that. And this was it. So how do we explain this? Can somebody help me out here? Somebody in my panel here?
I mean, if you're asking us to explain that, I mean, I'm not the guy.
Okay.
Can we use computers?
I suppose.
As an example?
Possibly. I don't know. Yeah, we could probably, you could try if you got an idea.
If they have senses and stuff they get their information from the environment too.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is that if we say it's just neurons, it's not just neurons firing. For one thing, there are probably about 100 million neurons firing all at once in our brains, right? But that isn't the only thing that's going on. We also have a beating heart. We have an entire body, and we have this sensory connection to the environment around us. And we have about 50 50 billion things coming into our body all at once from the environment. Okay. So you take all of that together, and that's what it is to be a human, to be alive in the universe. You are embedded in the universe. You aren't some separate idea of a neuron. I mean, you can look at neurons all day long and you're not going to see the color red, right? On the other hand, you can look at my red cup and you can see the color red right away. All of this shit is real, you know, and it's just, I don't know how else to explain it other than that we are our minds, our brains, our bodies, and our environment all at once. That's what we're experiencing, all of that stuff all at once. And you can't reduce that to chemistry. How would you do that? We would have to map every single neuron. We'd have to map this entire cup. We'd have to consider the physics of, you know, the light basically being absorbed, the red color being absorbed in my cup, all of that all at once. And you would put it into a database, and you would have this database that would be the size of the solar system, basically. And you say, okay, that is the color red. That's what seeing the color red is. But you would only have a database of a copy of it, right? Like a copy of the information, and that wouldn't be it. So when you reduce things, you cannot reduce them and experience them by the reduction is the point.
Why?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
Why did you say it had to be the size of a solar system when it's the size of our brain?
Because if I were to write down what's happening in every single neuron in my brain, every single molecule in my brain, and then in my body, and then down, in my environment, how much data would that take? You know, how much space would that take? It would be a computer at least the size of Jupiter,
I guess.
Yeah,
the current knowledge, I guess.
You know, the thing is, I think they shit on and misunderstand how complicated the universe really is. I mean, just my locality here would take a database and hard disks that would probably fill up the moon, Jupiter. I don't know how big it would be. But I mean, they completely, I considered heresy when you try to reduce what is actually going on in the world, in our environment, down to this little reductive idea. Oh, it's just chemicals, so you can't have reason. That is the stupidest goddamn thing I've ever heard. Anyway, should we play more of his brilliant exposition?
Well, actually, the part, I mean, we were getting into the brilliant part. The non-brilliance is gone, and now the brilliance will come in. But I mean, as far as, yeah, well, I disagree, just like I do with Danny, that you know, I don't understand how someone can be a non-naturalist, but but I did want to say too, like you had been talking about this here recently, and you were talking about all the interconnected things that are going on with your brain, and you had mentioned something, and I can't remember what you called it. You mentioned something about that there's something in your gut that is attached to your brain, or I think you referred to it as a little brain in your digestive system or whatever.
Yeah, there's like 30 million neurons basically in your digestive system, and I don't know a lot about that. I have not looked in detail to the anatomy, but that's part of it. And then throughout your body, this idea that we only have 5 senses is real bullshit. We have, you know, hundreds of senses coming into our brain all at once, and we're very much connected to our body and the environment through this massive multi-channel network of things, and that is our reality. Basically, that's what we are. We're like this hot little buzzy thing in the environment that's moving through time and through our lives, and we are collecting a tremendous amount of information, and that's why we have consciousness.
Yeah, real quick. I know you just said that, we only have 5 senses as bullshit, but one can make the argument that those 5 senses are the primary ones, and everything you feel are secondary.
Actually,
or sub.
Actually, they're the primary ones that we concentrate on. But when you add up proprioception alone, like knowing where your limbs are in space and how you feel your joints, You know how I know that my hand just moved without looking at it, that sort of thing. That sense right there is as rich as your visual sense. You're getting as much information from that. So it's we're just kind of we have this this
We're a
idea.
giant pile of a mess of senses.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, you do have a crush on Speed or something, man.
Because he.
Well,
you get. I mean, because you try and finish the sentences all the time.
well, I think
He's too
about
old
the
for me.
senses.
Okay, man.
I think
We'll talk after the show. I mean, you know.
Okay. Am I in trouble? Fine.
No. We'll talk about our relationship and
I wonder,
where we're gonna take it from here. Basically.
you could say this is just like proprioception in that you have to have sight or feeling or I wouldn't say taste, maybe smell, in order to use this. But wouldn't the sense of being in danger around certain people also almost count as a sense?
Yeah, you
Or
can.
at least a way to intuit from your surroundings. But
There's a lot of evidence that we smell things that we're not even we don't bring it into our consciousness and pick it out and say that I don't like this person. You could dislike a person because they smell funny. Yeah. Or
Somebody's mic is like really.
Somebody scratched, and I think Demeter is still having a lot of issues. I don't know, Demeter.
Can I say? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you a little bit.
Oh boy,
We can hear
better.
Scratching a lot.
Yeah, you're really scratchy too.
So
I can crank you up.
My mic is probably it is broken somewhere.
Yeah, is there some wire that's off or something like that?
Yeah, something is happening. So
your bird picked on your, like my cats chew on my wires. In your case, it was probably a bird. Your parrot bit through one of the wires. Like my cat's always chewing my iPhone chargers. And then if I move them a little bit, they don't work.
Okay, I will use the computer mic.
Oh, you're better now.
So if I use the computer, so my
now.
So now can you hear me now?
Really well, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good.
So I just want to put a few thoughts here, although I'm not in the neuroscience as a biologist. I haven't researched the neuroscience, so I'm not expert in brain biology. But it seems to me that we are talking here for kind of emotional more issue than the actual technical issue or biological issue here. So the logic seems to me it goes like this. If we are just some sort of atoms or some sort of cells or some sort of just the molecular interactions, so we are not spiritual creatures.
Yeah.
Therefore, we are kind of too boring, too robotic, like something like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of inferior to the spirituality, to the level of understanding, and so on. And that is entirely subjective and entirely emotional issue. That's not even close to the reality. And everyone that it says, "Oh, we are just interactions with the moleculars, different kinds of interactions between neurons and so on. Therefore, we are kind of inferior. We are just mechanical robots." And that is the issue. And also, if someone, it seems to me that when you talk with especially the guys from biblical background creationists. I'm not talking for all of the possible religion backgrounds, but let me say the biblical backgrounds, for example. If you deny the biblical type of God, for example, it's look like that you are too boring now. You are not enjoying the nature at all. So it seems to them that if you deny such an existence of superhuman being, a biblical type of superhuman God, therefore you are not devotion to nature. You're somehow inferior to nature, so you're not capable to enjoy the reality in the nature. You're too much robot.
Yeah.
So, and that's so wrong. This is completely wrong.
They're mistaking. Okay, when they talk about God, what they're really talking about is this natural complexity that I tried to explain just a few minutes ago. And this natural complexity is so great and so vast and so complicated that is how they think. They have almost made God equivalent to all of the universe, to nature, right? And we agree with them on that. It's like, yeah, all of the universe, that's what it is. That's why I feel so alive. And that's why I feel a spiritual connection. And that's why we all get along and all of that. That's where morality comes from. And they sort of like, they want to say, oh no, if you believe in science, you got to believe, you got to work out the chemical reactions before you can have an emotion, right?
Yeah.
It's a silly.
I mean, this is the deep level of those kinds of thinking from, for example, if you see Saul, I'm sure his mind, people like atheistic mind, for example, does not devote the nature at all. He's just like a boring person that it's just facts, boring facts.
Yeah.
No, that's even not close to the reality, and this is complete, and that have to be emphasized. That is huge misunderstanding from these guys.
So, like, go ahead.
Well, no, I just, before we got too far past, I wanted to kind of have you flesh out what you were saying about that there's these sensory inputs that we have.
Yeah, there's
aren't your basic senses, and and I don't know if this would be, you used a hand example, and I don't know if this is an example of that. You tell me if it is. Okay, so I'm missing the thumb on my left hand.
Yep.
That whole arm is underdeveloped. I was missing it at birth, and that my arm is like 3/4 of an inch shorter, my left arm than my right arm. And recently, within the last 5 years, I noticed that because of cues that I'm getting that aren't direct visual cues, my posture was all fucked up because I was trying to compensate when I was walking, and I would be, having a gait. My mind wanted my hands, my arms to be in the same position. It wasn't dealing with the fact that my left arm was shorter, whenever my arms were swinging and shit. And I noticed that, so it was throwing my fucking posture off. So I had to train myself to not let me go into that bad posture because my mind was just doing it. You know what I mean? I had to get used to the fact that when my arms are akimbo and I'm walking, that my left arm is just not hanging as low as my right arm.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fits in with what you have been talking about.
It does. V.S. Ramachandran is a neuroscientist, and he's done these experiments, and some other people have done them where they'll come up with a mirror and they'll put somebody else's hand. I think this is what they do, and they have gloves on, and they move it with your hand, and eventually there's a way to make you think that other hand, which is not your hand, is really your hand, and it happens within like minutes, where you switch over. So we have all of these, senses about, where our body is in space and all of that. And people go to therapy. And then there's the other problem where people that, get a limb cut off, they'll feel that limb for a long time. And they have all kinds of problems, and they have to go to therapy to figure out how to not feel pain in their fingers when they no longer have fingers. There's all of this stuff with, and that's all that massive system that's called proprioception, which is another sense. But still another sense is we actually sense how much oxygen is in our blood. And that affects our brain greatly. We feel it. We can feel how much oxygen is in our blood. You can also feel if your immune system is being attacked by a virus. You get a feeling from it immediately. You get a feeling of illness. We have all of this stuff coming from our stomach, like nausea and the well-being of our basically our intestines, and there's there's many systems coming into your brainstem and going up and hitting around here, hitting your cortex, and making you feel a certain way. So.
Yeah, can I add something really quick regarding the guy you just mentioned? I'm terrible with fucking names. I've actually read about him, and the implication he came, the implications of his experiments is that there really is no self. It's an illusion, because you're able to change. If I remember correctly, because I did read about him.
V.S. Ramachandran. I call him the Rama because he's like a god to me, right?
Rama Dhammalinglong.
Oh, and if you listen to him, he rolls his R's incredibly all the time. And
or the really Dalai Rama.
He's really fun to listen to.
Rama.
I'll see. I'll pull him up and put him in chat.
Go ahead, John.
Well, no, I just on top of what I was just asking Speed about, and he kind of led me into it. About this whole thing because I'm coming to more of Speed's thinking on it now, because I balked at it when he first was talking to us about how your mind is made up of things that are exterior to your body, but and to me that was just always your senses, giving your brain information. But I'm kind of coming around to Speed's way of looking at it. And if if you've ever done any reading on transhumanism, there is this experiment or this ongoing project. It's called 2045, the 2045 project, and they're working towards. They say by 2045, they feel as if they will be able to hook a human brain up to a machine or download a consciousness, but because of everything like Speed and you guys have been talking about, and they've said, other people have said this, and I believe it's true, is okay, so even if you were able to, in the future with technology, download a brain, or you were able to, put a brain in an artificial body or whatever, you would be who you were when they transferred your brain. But then beyond that, because you would be missing all the sensory input that Speed talks about, you would become a different person.
You'd be more like a computer, because you wouldn't have a body hooked up and you wouldn't have the world hooked up to you. Well, so in order to pull off AI, we are going to have to hook our AIs up to a body-like thing. And if we want that AI to be like a human, there's going to have to be a human-like body. And that's what we're missing with AI right now. We think that we can download neural connections and we're going to have a human consciousness. No, right. You're going to have to download the whole thing.
Well, and that, yeah. And the thing is okay, because of what you said earlier about, what if we had to map everything that's going on to have our brain work, then it would be a computer the size of Jupiter or whatever however you put it. So even when they get to that point you're talking about, it's never going to be the same. You know what I mean? It's never going to be the same as if you were in your body, but they'll eventually come up with artificial bodies and all that stuff. And the overall point I'm trying to make is that even if they get as much as they can right, once you take the body out of, or the brain out of the body that's doing all these things that you're talking about, Speed, that some of them we don't even know about, no matter how close they get to that right chemicals and everything and whatever, you're never going to be the same. You know what I mean? You'll feel like the same, like the day that they transfer you, but then you're going to be a different being than you would have been if you'd stayed in your body.
Yeah. And
Hey, Speed?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what you were saying about, that they'd like need to put the artificial intelligence into a human-like thing. There is, if you're talking like a physical human body, of course, there is the alternative that would probably be even harder to do with our current technology, which would be to put them into a virtual human body in a virtual environment. And I'm guessing you can imagine about how hard that would be to make.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd be better off starting with a real environment and really, give them muscles and giving them all of these, nerves and connections and proprioception.
Much easier.
And everything. Right.
And even that is much easier.
and even at that, if you don't have a limbic system or you don't have an emotional system, you're not going to have a person. You're going to have nothing. So we need like the whole ball of wax. Oh, Danny's here.
Yeah, and
so
an interesting thing about that.
I was going to say, why don't we?
An interesting thing about that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just was going to say to Speed. There's only like a couple more minutes of this to listen to. Just want their response to Sal.
Yeah, do you want to get that before we go off into
get that, and then we can go anywhere anybody wants to go.
Okay. I gotta respond to my friend. Okay, let's try to get through this video and wrap one thing at a time.
Yeah, it's just going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, just a few minutes. Not even.
We'll talk about that, especially with
But by the way, what you were talking about earlier relates a lot to what I was doing earlier. Saying.
Okay. Okay, we're playing video. Foreskin rules apply.
In regards to, but I'll just say in brief that whatever, I presumably we have some common notion of what it means for something to be, I believe, to be rational, for someone to behave rationally, right? They're doing so for reasons, perhaps reasons of a certain sort, perhaps with evidence and arguments in support of some belief. And that seems to be neutral on our theory of mind. And the question of whether we can think that the chemistry that results or constitutes in our reasoning is sound logically as opposed to chemically, as opposed to merely chemically. Well, I'm not sure what it means for it to be sound chemically. But, and there's a lot to be said here, but it just seems pretty obvious that our brains are pretty successful thinking tools, and that are pretty effective at navigating and perceiving and thinking about their environment and beyond. And so, yes, there's some arguments to be discussed against naturalism with respect to rationality and other things, but I don't think much of that was provided here, and it's beyond, I think, the scope of the discussion anyway. After all, as Pokin mentioned, the non-theist is not committed to naturalism, and so why would some argument against naturalism demonstrate theism?
Right. I mean,
arguments in favor of theism, not
sorry,
just against particular non-theistic worldview.
I was just saying that if we're going to, an argument against naturalism makes possible theism. I'm not saying it proves it.
All right, foreskin.
Rational.
Okay.
It makes.
Yeah,
it,
I'm calling it.
Okay.
I'm calling it. We don't have to watch any more of this. That's the end of it anyway. They're gonna go into Q&A here in a minute or so. And that's one of those situations right there where Sal seems like a little non sequitur to what Detroyer was saying. Like he basically just resets and starts to give his argument again instead of actively listen to what Detroyer was saying and give a response to what Detroyer actually said.
Yep.
A little presuppositionalism going on, maybe.
Yeah, that Canadian Catholic had a really bad presup argument.
Before we go into something else, real quick, I took a screenshot. Otangelo was over in the Dr. Dan video. he just showed up. If you want to cue the music, but he posted something in there that I thought you guys would find interesting. Let me find it here on my phone. Tangelo showed up on Dr. Dan's stream earlier, and he posted, one of the first things he posted was, this place is like a who's who of rep. Hello? Oh.
I can hear you.
No, no, it's not like somebody was blowing their nose or something. It threw me off. This place is like a who's who of reprobates, Jesus haters, devil worshipers, and those who distort science to do the devil's bidding.
Where did you hear that?
That was Otangelo's hello in the live chat when he came over to Dr. Dan's video.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So he's grouping theists and Jesus haters together?
I mean, I don't know. That he just said this place is like a who's who of reprobates, Jesus haters, devil worshipers, and those who distort science to do devil's bidding.
Well, 3 of those categories are theists, and the other ones are Jesus haters.
So I don't know. Maybe he woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
I don't know.
No surprise there. No surprise.
No surprise. Maybe he woke up in the wrong bed.
No surprise.
I had an interesting discussion with Argotha on on Maddox's Dr. Dan stream last night, where he was talking about RNA not being a chemical reaction, and I could pull up the chat here because I saved it, but I was trying to tell him, no, I think you got it wrong. Will you please come over so we can talk about this? And he was like, oh, you're ad homing me. You're saying I'm wrong. And he even said that the amino acids don't have a chemical reaction. They don't connect. They don't touch each other when a protein is being translated or an mRNA is being translated into a protein. He said the amino acids don't connect. And then he said it's the carbohydrate backbone that
sounds like I studied, but I didn't studied enough.
No, he didn't study enough.
Isn't it called a peptide bond or something?
What?
Isn't it called a peptide bond?
Yeah. It's basically there's a condensation rate. I told him to look up condensation reaction and peptide bonds, and he said I was ad homing him.
It sounds a bit like arguing that water isn't made of hydrogen and oxygen because it doesn't burn.
It was pretty close, and I was trying to I was trying to be gentle with him and to tell him that he was ignorant and that you need to come over and we'll explain how this works.
I can't believe
but what turned on that?
I can't believe the hand grenade that Dak was thrown in the room, man.
Speed. What turned on that? Whether it was a chemical reaction or not? Why was he arguing that?
John Maddox was making the point that there was no chemical connection between the codon and the amino acid being translated, and what they're talking about is there's a codon on one side of the one side of the ribosome, right? There is or one side of the tRNA, there is an anticodon that matches with the codon, right? On the other side of that same molecule, that tRNA, is the charged amino acid. And that's how the protein gets put together. But the two amino acids, like the previous amino acid and the next one, there's definitely a chemical reaction between them because it creates a protein, And I think they were trying to say that it was something spiritual or magical. And John Maddox has even said this pretty much out loud, that there is no material connection between the mRNA and the protein. And he said it over and over again. And you could make a case because it's an enzymatic. Enzymes work. They call them tweezers and something else, tweezers and tongs or something. Enzymes work by locking onto some structure. And then another part of that enzyme will create some chemical reaction that's called, the active domain or whatever. And you could make the case that that is not strictly a chemical bonding reaction, but the case is pretty damn weak. I mean, it's really pretty horrible. Oh no. Reaction that's called,
yeah, well,
no.
I guess if you use the qualifier strictly, you can, because it's not strictly much of anything. It's a complex chemistry.
Yeah, it's
there
just
isn't much that you could say it strictly is.
But I mean, that's what they keep harping on, and the only thing John Maddox keeps harping on is that it's a code. It's a code.
Well, that's
so what?
That's like when they say that evolution can't be just random chance and natural selection.
Yeah, and it
can't be purely random. Notice they won't just say, it can't be random chance and natural selection, which is almost saying the same thing. They'll say things like it can't be pure random, it can't be just random. Well, they're right.
Real quick, I got to jump in and fix something. So Tangelo posted in there, hey, you guys need to invent stuff to have victories. And so then I went back and looked at my screenshot again. That screenshot that I read that I was attributing to Otangelo was actually Otangelo Grasshole.
Oh, it was Grasshole. Okay.
Yeah. But it wasn't Otangelo, so you weren't wrong when you said it was Otangelo. You just didn't clarify which Otangelo.
It was somebody mocking him on a freaking side.
Right. Yeah, you didn't clarify which Otangelo. Oops.
Sorry, Otangelo.
Oh, yeah.
No, but he's actually here.
He's here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi, Otangelo.
Hi, Otangelo.
Hi, guys. Yeah.
I don't think he did that on purpose, just so you know.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think of it until he posted what he had posted about us inventing things to get a cheap victory or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, what's he talking about? And then I go back and look, and it's like, yeah, that's not the real Otangelo.
No. Okay.
And real quick, is it okay if I take a couple minutes and since both of my victims are here, and get my mea culpa out of the way?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
do it.
So at any rate, I have been, I've been harsh on some people, and part of the reason is that deep down inside I'm just an asshole, and the other part is that over on the channel I normally am on the Rage, and I am the person that controls the live room. So when things get out of hand, I got to use my dad voice to jump in on top of people. But so at any rate, and I've already, every time I've ever blown up on this channel, the first thing I've done afterwards is get with Speed and tell him I realize how I acted and sorry about it, yada yada yada. But so we and Speed talked about it again today. I'm gonna do my level best not to have what I've termed as my Tourette's moments, where I just go off on people. But we need to get
Tourette's, huh?
Oh, wait a minute, Brock. Wait a minute, you said Brock.
No, I don't have Tourette's. But we have to get an understanding from everybody in the room. And I'm going to say everybody, even though I'm really only addressing a few people, myself included. Okay, when it's somebody's turn to talk, they've got the floor. But if anybody in the room needs clarification, like for instance, the shit that Otangelo talks about all the time, like somebody like me or Top Dog or whoever might not understand what you're saying, and they got to get a clarification from you. Or Danny, if he's going into some long philosophical spiel, he's gonna know more shit than me and most of the people in the room. Now, if somebody like Demeter's here, then they can hang with you and know your terminology and all that. So when you have the floor, you have the floor. But if somebody wants to jump in real quick and put a point in real quick or ask a quick question, and we're saying quick, we're saying 1 or 2 sentences or one question, then they should be able to do that. And what Speed suggested is just use the foreskin thing like we use for the videos. Like, like Danny's got the floor and he says something that somebody doesn't understand or something that they're balking at that they want to make a quick comment on. Just say foreskin, and whoever's the person is that is has the floor, just acquiesce to them for a quick comment, and then Speed will call that person out if they say foreskin and they're showing their intention to say something really quick. Well, then they have to say something really quick. They can't go on and on and on, or then Speed will moderate.
Yeah, the thing is, if we were all in a room together, we'd have body cues, right? And you'd know that somebody wanted to say something, and you'd let them at least get it out before you went on. And because we're on this weird video world, it is a little difficult. But I think there are ways that we can be polite and work it out. So we're going to try to do that better, and I'm just going to viciously start putting people in back, in the back room, not just Danny, but everybody. And I promise, I'm only going to put Danny in the back room 12 times per video, which is 50% of what I normally do, right, Demeter?
Gotta wonder if that definition of foreskin is going to have a dictionary.
Demeter has a floor, Doc.
Yep.
What do you mean?
I have a very, very simple technical solution for your problem. Do you have timer around you? Somewhere, kitchen timer or something like that?
A timer?
Yeah,
not a good one, but I could.
Timer.
I have iPhone.
I mean, we could time it. Like if we were going to do something that was like structured like that. Yeah. There's 100 different ways we could have anybody in here timing, like with a phone or whatever. But the point of it is that if somebody has like you, Demeter, there's so many things about that I'm ignorant of. Like you might be giving an explanation of something, and you'll say something that I don't even know what you're talking about, and I might have to jump in and real quick and be like, hey, what does that term mean or something, so that I can understand your overall point. That's kind of like what we're talking about, it is, but yeah, like it was going to be like structured like what's that?
That is about the questions. I mean, but if you have a specific time frame, we can easily make a very good discussion.
Yeah. I think your mic is chatting out again on us. I don't know. Oh, by the way, foreskin. John, ask Knock to come talk to me about these things.
What is it?
It's a nicotine lozenge.
Oh, why did you hear what he said earlier today?
I did. Yeah, I did.
I wasn't sure. Did he say that guy would swallow a whole lozenge?
Well, when you first start on the lozenges, the same as if you start on one of these vaping things, it makes you kind of sick and dizzy at first because you get much nicotine through a different channel. But there are ways around that, and I use 27 lozenges a day, which is I think 7 times the recommended. Like it's going to be fatal dose. I don't really give a shit because I'm invulnerable, apparently. I don't know. But anyway, nicotine is really not that bad for you. And it's something I quit smoking 10 years ago, and I still use a nicotine supplement because I don't ever want to run out of nicotine and go through that.
Yeah, it's a weak poison.
Yeah, nicotine is actually a powerful neurotransmitter that actually counteracts and medicates depression, and counteracts and medicates dementia and Alzheimer's, they're finding. So nicotine may not be such an evil drug.
Interessante.
So, and be rest assured, those that have recently been my biggest detractors, I won't mention any names, you know who you are. Rest assured, if I get in that Tourette's frame of mind and start screaming at Danny, Steve's going to stick me backstage. But I have promised him that's not going to happen anymore.
Okay.
I found a way to make a timer on my screen.
Yeah, I mean, that I don't see how that really helps, though, when you're having an open discussion because, like somebody's going to –
There's a timer.
They're going to need more than 20 seconds to make their point. A lot of people do. And then, if they do have like a multifaceted like response that they're giving, then there's where clarification might be needed in the middle of it, so.
Yeah. Anyway.
Like one. I think it's Asian kind of healer, or so. I mean, he was a philosopher, and he said that there is no such a thing as a poison, but they use the concentrations.
What do you say? They need a what?
Meaning, there is no such thing as poison. They use concentration, meaning it could be poison. I mean, it could be dangerous. Everything could be a cure. It depends on the concentration. So,
in the right
the
dose.
poisonous stuff
and the quantity.
For example,
What's that metal that kind of looks like?
Demeter, you're roboting really bad, or your mic is cutting out again for some reason.
Like what's that metal that kind of looks like silver? That's your body needs it as a nutrient in very small amounts, but if you had like a hunk of it and touched it, it could kill you.
Iodine?
What's that?
It's not a metal though. Iodine's not a metal. But
sodium, magnesium, potassium, they would all.
It was a T. It's something started with a T.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember. I just saw it in a video on YouTube the other day.
Well, anyway, sodium will really fuck you up if you got next to that. If you got, if you grabbed a piece of sodium, it would just burn your skin off. If you grab metallic sodium. I had a pound of metallic sodium, and it's wonderful stuff. I recommend everybody buy a pound of that, and but don't touch it.
Yeah, so there goes this video getting flagged.
Yeah, okay. This channel does not recommend buying a pound of sodium. Kids.
Yes.
Anyway,
yes.
It's cool stuff because
sarcasm alert, right?
Magnesium's pretty wild stuff too, isn't it?
What? Yeah, yes.
Magnesium. Yeah.
I have not experienced that, but sodium you can cut with a knife. It's like a waxy substance.
Yeah, it's very, very soft.
When you cut it, it's really silvery, and it immediately clouds over because it oxidizes immediately. So, and if you throw it in the water,
I don't have the link to it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you throw it in the water, hydrogen, it blows out hydrogen and it blows up. It like explodes, and it's really fun. It's just a lot of fun.
All the alkali metals do that, right? Like lithium.
Yep. I've only experienced sodium.
Fifth grade chemistry.
Yeah.
Fifth grade chemistry, right?
That what?
Fifth grade chemistry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not to be tried without proper protective equipment.
Right.
Is thiamine a metal?
Thiamine?
Yeah.
No.
I'm still trying to remember what that was.
It's nucleotide. Thiamine's a nucleotide.
Yeah, it was something that started with a T, and it was something that you like see in vitamins. But then if you had like a hunk of it, it was like really, really toxic, like the sodium that he was talking about. It's just one of them things where it's driving me nuts. I just watched a video like 3 days ago, and I'm having a boomer moment. Can't remember what the hell it
was. Zinc? No, that wouldn't be it. Cobalt?
Well, and the thing is too, there's every chance that I say it starts with a T, and it probably doesn't because I don't remember shit well.
All right, guys.
Titanium starts with a T. That's all I can think of.
Are you leaving, Danny?
Yeah, I gotta go.
We were going to just get to the part where you were on John Maddox's channel last night, and they made that kind of crappy joke about Leo, and then they started calling, and then Jason Ezzard said something about, I don't want to talk about that garbage, bisexual men, that sort of thing.
I was really confused about that. Jason, guy?
Technician.
Yeah, Jason, you want to stay away from that man if you don't know him.
Tungsten?
I don't know him.
Yeah. He is a scary person, I'll tell you. He threatened to send a cartel after us to kill us, me and Immutable. And he doxed SFT, and
what? I have never heard of this guy.
Yeah, stay away from him. Faithful, honest, and true is what
sounds like fun.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. He's a scary person. I wouldn't mess with them at all.
That's what happens when you overdose on thiamine.
Thallium. Thallium?
Thallium, that's not right.
That's not right. Arsenic?
Thallium's a metal, right?
I think thallium's a metal, yeah.
Bismuth.
I think so.
It's been a while.
Or so there's
Bismuth
polonium.
is in Pepto-Bismol.
Yep. Gray post-transitional metal that is not
All right,
found
which part of the periodic
Thallium.
chart
Thallium.
has the
That's
metal?
it's number 81. Thallium I know is number 81, but I think it's a metal. Pretty sure.
It's a metal. It's a transitional metal or transitional.
John
metal.
Leo wants to know if you're thinking of chromium.
No, I think it's the thallium because it was something that's in.
Here's a kitty I didn't eat. There's a kitty's
This is the
butt.
useful
You gotta see
services
a
we
kitty's
provide
butt.
here at this channel, helping to identify the metal you might be thinking of.
Right.
Everybody does this.
We should just like make it a normal feature of the show, like help the boomer remember.
Yeah. And my cat's ass in the camera didn't help. So.
Yeah, we can have a morning show every day called "Okay, Boomer." And,
Yeah.
help
And
people
now it's time for
think about where their keys are, that kind of thing.
And now it's time for our daily feature. Okay, boomer.
We
And
don't
the cat going back and
cat.
forth. I thought you ate that cat.
Don't show your
Machine
cat
word.
my.
Did you freeze Speed?
Did I freeze again? No.
I don't know. Like I asked you. I said I thought you said you ate that cat.
Oh, not this cat. The other
Oh.
cat, Thor. This is Loki. So I eat
I've
Thor.
never asked you about this Speed, but it kind of worries me seeing those wires coming down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Is that kind of a fire hazard?
No. That's a plug-in basically for my microscope and my chargers and stuff. I had them put outlets on the ceiling because outlets on the ceiling fucking rock. I mean, if you haven't tried it, get outlets on your ceiling. Awesome. You plug the vacuum cleaner in, you just drive it around, and yeah.
That makes a lot of
And
sense.
the most safest if they can hold in.
Yeah.
Keeps the cords off the floor.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Neil's got an answer. Thallium.
Oh, by the way,
by the human body. So maybe thallium ain't it.
but by the way, big surprise. Well, not for us, but for theists, big surprise. No gods showed up to my first episode of All Gods Invited.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So I'm making another episode later today because maybe they were sleeping in.
Guys, I have
to people on there, Matt. Different people on there because it might just be you. They might show somebody else.
I have to step away.
He's trying to talk, folks.
I'm trying to talk.
That could be. Well, I've been asking people to do this for a long time, so
away for 3 minutes. Please, okay, I have to step away for 3 minutes. You guys have fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's the other thing, real quick. Since that happened, is just to point out something else me and Speed talked about earlier. Is that he's kind of soft voiced and he's not as forward as a lot of other people around here. But this is his channel. When he wants to say something, we got to let him get in. If you hear Speed's voice, and I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else. So
I have bad hearing. When I accidentally talk over him, I generally don't hear that he's talking, so that's a problem. And I try to listen, but
right. But then you'll just get I'll do what I just did now. I'll just let you know that he's talk. Yeah, or else you could just not talk over again, and that'll work too. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I try. I do try, but the combination of the lag and the bad hearing, and like you said, his voice not being very loud, it makes it difficult.
Yeah. Well, and it's also the internet. We're all in different parts of the world, and we all have different, internets and download speeds and all that shit. So there's delays different delays from different. It's
yeah.
It's a lot different than if we were all in a room having a beer together and looking at one another.
Yeah. The upload speeds tend to be more the problem than the download speeds, because a lot of internet connections are very asynchronous that way. Their download speed might be 10 or 20 or even 100 times as fast as their upload speed.
Yeah.
So you can get a lot of lag on the upload. But yeah, both make a difference. And I actually connected for a short time when I was doing my episode 1 earlier. I connected to my own live stream through my phone, so there was 2 of me on there for a little while. I'm pretty sure they were pretty badly out of sync with each other.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised you had all gods invited and no god showed up. Surprise.
Yeah, it's just amazing that, with all the hundreds of thousands of gods people have believed in over the years, and, supposedly gods live forever, you'd think they'd still be around, but yeah, well, and of course the all-knowing gods should know about it. So any of those, I mean, like I said, maybe they were sleeping. It's a possibility. I mean, it was 10:25 in the morning, U.S. Pacific time. What time of the morning that is in God time, where like a second is a million years or something like that. It's hard to say. Maybe I gotta wait a million years and then try again. What's that?
Maybe you need to sacrifice a goat or a ram.
Maybe. I haven't got a goat or a ram, so yeah, there's that. But well, I'll leave that up to the believers. They can make sacrifice a goat or a ram or a nickel or whatever they happen to decide they think their god needs sacrificed, and then they can invite their gods, and hopefully when they do the inviting, their gods will show up. Because I've been for years I've been asking theists to invite their gods to a conversation, and it's extremely rare that any of them will ever take me up on it. I mean, actually, I think it's only happened once. And that particular person, it was a long time. He kept coming back and trying to convince me his God was real, and I kept telling him, if your God would just speak for himself, he could probably convince me. And I kept telling him, just invite your God. I just make a public invitation for your God to just come join the conversation and speak for himself. And he wouldn't do it. But after a long time, he finally told me one time that he had actually invited his God quite a while back already, but he did it privately instead of publicly, like I suggested, and he didn't understand why his God never showed up.
My problem is that if a god showed up in front of me, that would be the last thing I think it would do. No matter what it did, that would be the last thing I would think it was. I mean, because especially like from all the sci-fi I've watched in my life, I just rebooted the Star Trek The Original Series here last week and have been binge watching it. And like if some being all of a sudden appeared in front of me and whatever it was, I mean, just made things appear out of thin air or whatever they did, I would just wonder how they were doing it through science.
Magician, wizard, whatever the case might be, right?
Yeah.
Well, one of the last movies of the original Star Trek crew, they had supposed to be meeting a god. Or the god. But it turned out it was an alien or something.
I'm pretty sure if an omniscient god, even a not very powerful omniscient god, were to have a conversation with me, I would probably figure out that it was a god, or that it was, at least something resembling omniscient in a pretty short time without it even having to tell me. Because I mean, it would know everything I'm thinking before I led on to it. It would have the answer to any question that I could possibly want to ask, and always the right answer. I mean, omniscience would be kind of, I mean, unless they're trying to hide it, it would show.
I think that's why theists think they're right, because they think they're connected. when all evidence shows otherwise.
It's kind of like the psychics. Why don't psychics win the lottery every other day?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, if their God is just a part of their brain that identifies itself as God, of course it's going to know the answers to all of their questions.
Mm-hmm.
At least all the questions that they know the answers to. If they ask it a question they don't know the answer to, they wouldn't know whether or not it got it right. You know?
I think the coincidence is if they get it right, if they're doing multiple things.
Yeah,
just the ones that they got right, or the ones they think that God told them.
And if that part of their brain, figures, that they're going to be mad at it if it tells them the truth that, it's not really a God, why would it ever let on to that, that being the case, that it's just part of their brain? I mean, it's got every reason to keep them deceived.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me about my answers in atheism today, and I forget what they said. They said, "Am I going to have an ark?" And I am going to have a refrigerator box in my backyard that people can visit. It's only admission is only $35 a person, and we have a lot of parking. So.
Yeah, I thought it was rather humorous when you changed the name to that and Answers in Atheism, because technically atheism doesn't have any answers, but on the bright side, it doesn't have any wrong answers.
No, actually,
I mean, you're more likely to find the right answers by at least avoiding the wrong answers than you are by going to some book that claims to have the right answers and doesn't.
Actually, from naturalism, I can develop a hell of a lot of answers for people, actually.
Oh, yeah, but that's naturalism. That's not atheism.
Well, the two for me are together. So
I figured as much.
Yeah.
I figured as much. Like I said, I found it sort of humorous, in that respect. But I understood. I thought I understood, and now you just clarified it. Yeah, I did understand.
So tell me about your God's Invited video. You did one.
I did one, yeah. It's just me talking. It's a live stream, and I did post in the chat a link to join it. Amy Newman showed up in the chat for a while. The chat, by the way, for some reason isn't displaying. I did set YouTube to display the chat in the replay, and it's not doing that, and I don't know why, but hopefully I'll figure that out. It's Eminent Reflection.
Eminent Reflections. Okay. I don't even have that.
So I basically just talked about whatever came to mind, talked about, like why I'm doing that program and stuff like that. And I wonder, I'm going to do another episode later today. I wasn't going to do it that soon. I was going to wait like 8 days, and I decided I'm going to do another one today and see if maybe I can work out some of the technical details or whatever, and, make it better. But at the same time, well, I haven't sent out invitations per se. I did send a tweet mentioning the show and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, and anybody who wants to share the link, please do. And anyone's invited. If somebody wants the link in advance to join the live stream, they can let me know. I should be able to get that to them. Because it's the link exists now. And I'll probably be posting it in the chat as soon as I start the thing anyway, because after all, I mean, the idea is to invite gods to come join the conversation, and maybe some god will show up who isn't omniscient and needs to have the link posted in the chat to find it.
I'm trying to find you. And I can't. Oh, because I spelt it wrong. Enmement.
Oh yeah, that would do it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's not one that shows up easily. I've noticed that as you're typing and it gives you a little suggestions about what it might be you're typing, you got to get all the way through the whole thing, and even then it doesn't suggest it.
Right.
That's
even when you type the whole thing.
That's like my British friend Topic Thunder is the name of her channel, Topic Thunder, and you cannot search her channel without YouTube correcting it to Tropic Thunder and getting all kinds of videos about that movie.
Yeah, I had trouble with speed of sound. That's why I came up with that speed of sound of gravity, which I'm dropping entirely. I had to add that in order to find my channel, because if you type in speed of sound, you end up with John Prine songs and Alabama 3 songs, and you'll end up with a million channels, but not mine. So
yeah, well, Amy Newman's is like that as well. If you try to search her channel, there's apparently a song artist out there named Amy Newman that you'll get all kinds of videos from that person, but not the Amy Newman channel until you scroll down for it. And I've even known it once in a while to not even show up when you scroll down. It's just plain not in the search results, and then you just got to search again.
So
hopefully they'll change over time.
I put your channel link in the I just put it in chat, so Red Fang asked for it. So anyway, but yeah, if you're at a reasonable time and it's not like, if I'm not really tired, send me a link. I'll join you if you need somebody to talk. So
let's see.
I'd like to come there and just, even just to have a few minutes to rip on where'd all the gods at.
Yeah, where all the gods at. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you guys. Yeah, you guys are welcome. Very welcome to come in there and mock the gods that didn't show up, or encourage them to show up, or whatever you feel like doing. I had a friend of mine tell me, "Oh, don't do it. It's blasphemy." And I try to tell her, it's like, well, that's not my intention, but I'm certainly not going to intentionally try to avoid blaspheming either.
No. Yeah, I mean, not your intention. I guess that was a good answer, I guess. But I probably would have fell into that trap and been like, so what if it's blasphemy?
Yeah, so what? Yeah. I mean, I have no intention of blaspheming, but that doesn't mean I won't. And it doesn't mean I won't, do it intentionally somewhere along the way, because I can always get that intention if there seems to be a cause for it at the time.
When it comes to God, I used to believe it. The God in the Bible, now that I'm where I'm at, I believe he deserves blaspheming.
Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Well, I mean, the Bible says God is not mocked.
I mock him every day.
I even mock that verse.
I'm still kicking.
We're such heathens. We're all going to hell.
Like, really? Really? God is not mocked? Yes, he is.
I mean, the argument could be made that he mocks himself in the Bible.
No kidding.
With his inconsistency.
I'm trying to find my numbers.
Yeah. I don't believe or disbelieve in, like gods that individuals believe in, because I don't know who their God is. So I don't have enough information to do that. I mean, maybe their God is a voice in their head, and it might be very real to them. Maybe it's actually a supernatural being. I haven't come across any such thing, but could be. But if they tell me it's the God of the Bible, I'll tell them one of two things is true. Either they're wrong about it being the God of the Bible, or they're wrong about it being real, because the God of the Bible isn't real.
Well, as I've always said, the only God I recognize, who is now not with us, is one Wilt Chamberlain, and not for biblical reasons, or you could look at it for the most biblical reason of all. I think he's a God, but I'll let you suss that out.
What on earth is happening here? I'm trying to find something.
I wonder. Oh, here. I can post that link in here right now, I think. Can I do that?
Yeah.
So Speed,
yep.
I don't know how long you're planning on going, but since we started a little later tonight, I'm fading.
You're fading?
I'm fading.
Oh my goodness.
I keep yawning, and because I got woke up last night for some family business, and then I don't even know how much sleep I got last night.
Okay, I'm not going to go too much longer.
It's damn near 6 p.m. where I'm at, man.
Oh my goodness.
Well, in 1 hour, I think Erica has another premiere.
Oh no.
on Gut Sick Gibbons' channel.
Oh yeah.
Erica gets all the love on YouTube. You know, I don't get any.
Proudly anti-mask, says take a nap, John. I think I may take a nap, but I really hope that your screen name is just irony, because that's
I hope so too.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever read. Proudly anti-mask. Like
somebody was in chat talking about they got COVID and they had worked with people that didn't wear masks, and my clinic tried to coerce me into coming in for a physical, and I told them no, not till I get a vaccine. And they said, "Oh, we're totally safe." And I said, "Yeah, I know a couple of nurses that infected like 4 people because they were totally safe, because they get a test on Monday and they come back, negative, and then they actually get the virus on Wednesday and then give it to you the following Monday." And they were trying to talk me into coming in, and she said, "Oh, do you go to a gas station or a grocery store?" And I said, "No." And she didn't know where to go after that, because she just that I actually went out of the house, and I don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is that's what people don't understand that won't wear the mask, is that you can already have it and be contagious, but you don't know you have it.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to wear the mask. That's why you got to social distance. It's just, I mean, it's just common sense,
And so
and you can also get over it to the point where you don't have symptoms and still be contagious.
Yeah. And medical professionals, they get this false sense of security because they get tested every once a week, and that's what happened to these 2 nurses that came to see me and managed to infect 4 people because they had it, and they didn't know it. They called the day after. This was at a funeral, and they called the day after the funeral and said, "Oh, oops, we tested positive." It's like, thank you.
Well, there's a restaurant, maybe a block and a half from where I live, that has just the most fantastic fucking peanut butter pie ever, and so I stop in there quite often and get just a piece of pie to go. And I was in there, it was yesterday or the day before, and I'm standing up at the front, waiting for her to bring the pie to pay for it. And I guess it was Sunday. So I guess it was yesterday, because a lot of people were coming in after church. And they have social distancing, a few tables apart, everybody is. But they still, especially on a Sunday, they do a good clip and business. And there was standing around me 3 or 4 groups waiting to be seated. And one group the last group that came in was looked like a family, and there was three women, and the 3 women didn't have masks on. And I had to kind of bite my tongue, because I wanted to be an asshole to them. But all I said was I go, "Yeah, I don't know if they're going to serve you without masks." And the woman like, "Well, I didn't." One woman was like, "Well, I don't have a mask with me." Like, and it was obvious they had just got whether they came from church or it was something else. They were coming in after going somewhere else. It's like, who this far into it? What has it been now? A year and a few months doesn't have a mask on them. You know what I mean? In their pocket or in the car.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was going to try to open that transcript with Argatha, but Apple doesn't play nice with Microsoft, so I'm going to have to find a different way to do it. But
I actually had a mask ripped off of me once, so I
don't show your
tend to carry a spare mask now.
Why did it get ripped off of you?
I don't know. Probably just someone being an asshole.
Well, come on, man. There's gotta be more to the story than that, dude.
I would consider that an assault.
Yeah, that was an assault. That was the same day that my phone got stolen, and it was rather early on in the assault. It was a multiple person assault from multiple directions, and they actually took my phone out of my hand while I was talking to 911.
Wow.
Jesus.
Vandalism too.
So what exactly was their reasoning? I wouldn't even want to venture to guess.
Did you get a good look at him?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I actually could have identified several of the people, but that was that was right around the time that
this is
what
what
they call it, like the riots. The riots were starting up here in Los Angeles, and
Dak, real quick,
know, so
this is what I was wondering: was the person who grabbed your phone about 5'0", and then after they snatched the phone, they said sorry?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Not quite fitting that
Nice
description.
shot, John. Good shot, man.
I couldn't resist.
What is that? Nice shot, man. Who did that? Filter, that song, Nice Shot, Man. Have you heard of that one?
No.
By Filter. Anyway, one of my favorite songs. It's about the weatherman that shot himself live on TV.
Randolph Richardson put something in the live chat for you, Speed.
Oh, he did.
But
yeah, something.
But yeah,
that you can click on and save for something. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah. At the time when that happened, I was able to track down, where my phone was at, using some Google tool or something, and I tried to let the police know where it was and stuff, and they just treated it like it's a non-issue because bigger things were happening at the time, so that was the end of that. I knew I'd never get that one back. And I think that's all it was, is they were just taking advantage of the fact that there was stuff happening around that they knew they could get away with stuff. Because it was real early on in it, but it wasn't so early that there weren't people who realized something was up.
Well, and throughout the years, like I can understand like some of the recent protests and stuff, and most of them, the vast majority of them were peaceful. Or you go way back to like the Rodney King verdict, and people upset about that, and we're destroying stuff and everything. I mean, I'm not sanctioning that or saying that that's right, but I never understood the mentality. Hey, some injustice happens, let's go steal TVs. Like that never made sense to me. Like, let's break into Walmart and steal shit because some injustice happened. Like, I'm sorry, that's not protesting. That's
there were people who were actually trying to get crowds to do stuff they otherwise wouldn't do, and it was partially successful. I was one of the people who walked away, for example, when an otherwise peaceful protest group was being encouraged to start picking up trash cans and lifting them over their heads and dumping them in the middle of the streets. I was there, I was there with the protesters protesting what was wrong, but I wasn't going to be a part of making something else wrong.
Well, and that's, dumping a garbage can on the scale of things, not that big a deal, but it's still stupid. Like, okay, something bad happened in the town I live in, so let's dump litter everywhere.
Well, that's how they escalated it. They started with small stuff that they could get people to do, and then once the people saw the small stuff and they're seeing, oh look, there's garbage all over the street and everything, those that didn't know how it got that way, they're going, oh well, there's all the more reason to be angry, and then they could get them to do more stuff. So it was very well orchestrated. The riots didn't happen just by coincidence. They were caused.
Oh well, yeah, I mean, because Trump and his crew, they know how to play on the mob mentality very, very well.
There was a lot of that going on, yeah.
People are paid probably too.
What's that, Doc?
Probably some people are paid.
Well, yeah.
So I was really confused
Most likely.
last night when I was in a video chat with Argatha or on Dan's stream, and I don't know if I guess let's see, is there a plus? How the hell do you make this thing bigger? Will an alt plus work? No, that doesn't work. Anyway, so Argatha says, answers in atheism. There is no interaction between the amino acids in RNA. I think you are thinking of DNA. And earlier he had said, he had criticized Dr. Dan because Dr. Dan was confusing RNA with DNA. So Argatha, brilliant molecular biologist that he is, said that to me. There is no interaction between the amino acids in RNA. I think you are thinking of DNA. And then I said, let's see, what the hell did I say? Argatha, you simply are missing it. What do you think is happening to select the right amino acid? And he said, answers and atheists. He calls me answers and atheists.
That's
please,
funny.
He said, first retract your claim, then I will answer.
What?
Yeah. And then he says, sure, we can start with the paper. Oh, no, that was Otangelo. Okay. So first retract your claim. And what else happened here? So,
yeah, something you said a minute ago. I just have to ask, how many times have you heard that in your life, Speed?
What's that? First,
you said, how do I make this thing bigger?
Oh. Yeah, no, actually, they were always complaining, trying to make it smaller. And then Argatha says God did create DNA. And let's see where else we went here. I think I missed your reply, Argatha, because I was confused by what he said. And then he says, answers in atheism. You going to retract your statement, or are you a liar? And do you just refuse to learn?
Right. Okay. And that's so beautiful. Argatha can say something like that to you, but then he's in here with us one time and getting triggered as fuck over using the Lord's name in vain.
Right.
And they can't see the comparison to that look, we say these things because they're just embedded in our fucking, our brains. To say, we don't even know when we say it, like God damn it or Jesus Christ or something like that. And then here he is purposely saying some shitty thing about you.
So then I said, Argatha, what claim? He said, answers in atheism. I corrected you that the amino acids do not interact in RNA and offered that you were confusing it with DNA. And then I said, oh, and that was Tony. So then I said, amino acids interact with the RNA, Argatha. Same structure. Call it a ribosome. Actually, a tRNA, which is one molecule, and the amino acid is a part of that molecule. And then he says, answers in atheism. Ribosomes are external to RNA. Ribosomes are made out of RNA and proteins. And then I said, next said to him, Argatha, I think you need to go study. If you want me to explain it to you, stop over and we will be very helpful and polite. And then he says, most of the time when someone repeats a question asked of them, they are buying time to reformulate a lie. And I said, the cognitive skewing here is killing me. And then what else did he say? Okay, he said, yes, that is correct. Ribosomes contain RNA, but that Otangelo corrected him. But that is not what we were talking about. Speed was claiming that there's a chemical interaction between amino acids in RNA. Yeah, that's kind of how ribosomes work. Answers in atheism, yes, but it has nothing to do with the problem. Oh, no, that was Otangelo. So then I asked, know any good therapists? Okay, so what else did Argatha say to me? Okay, there's a really good one here. I gotta find it. Okay, he said, I give up answers in atheism. If you can't see the point that amino acids do not chemically interact with one another within RNA. And I don't know why he was talking about within RNA, but I was talking about the ribosomes and translation. And we were just obviously off on the wrong track. And I said, oh my God, Argatha, if you know how sad what you're saying is, you would be nicer to me. And
is he trying to say that the ones that ones in RNA don't react with other ones in RNA?
There aren't any amino acids in RNA. There are amino acids attached to they're attached to the RNA. If you have a tRNA, a transfer RNA, there actually is an amino acid attached to the end of that thing. Okay,
I'm just trying to figure out what it was he was trying to say.
I don't know what he's talking about. But then later on, he comes up with Oh, where the hell has he come up with he's got a really good here. He answers.
All right, I gotta jump in real quick. Our good friend and perennial friend of your channel speed, Stephanie Trenton, is engaging with Randolph Richardson, and he says to Randolph Richardson, "God is inside you." And I'm not going to say.
Yeah, he's a part of your brain.
I'm not going to say anything about that. I'm just going to let the audience imagine what I might have said based on other things.
Yeah. That story about Abram comes to mind. Starry night. God tell him, look up at the sky and count the stars, and you expect a baby to be born from your bowels.
Then he asked me if I mean ATP, and I'm not sure what the hell he was talking about there.
Was he asking you if you needed TP for your bunghole?
I think so.
That could be it.
Oh, what else?
Okay. Yeah, ATP as opposed to a wigwam, right?
Yeah.
I'm a TP. I'm a wigwam. I'm a TP. I'm a wigwam.
Okay, so then the very last thing he said: answers in atheism. I did say that, and I stand by it. I don't know. I said, I'm not sure what I said to him. The chemical reaction for building RNA is respective of the carbohydrate backbone, not the amino acids themselves. And it's like, what? And I kind of gave up at that point. But I mean, can you parse that?
I'm wondering why it even matters.
Crazy.
Well,
I mean, unless you're actually trying to, perform abiogenesis,
The chemical reaction for building RNA is respective of the carbohydrate backbone. That is speaking in tongues. He doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. And yet he's criticizing Dr. Dan and me. And he's going against me like, oh yeah, you're wrong. You gotta retract your statement. And the kid obviously knows shit about fucking squat.
Well, but you got to give them an A for confidence, though.
I know, but what?
Yes.
When are these people so goddamn dumb that they don't even realize that they don't know some stuff, right? That they got to go study. I mean, he was talking like gibberish the whole time, and I'm like, and I'm trying to track this stuff and try to tell him, come on over, we'll help you out. I mean, we would be very polite to him, and I told him we wouldn't say goddamn or anything like that. I didn't say we wouldn't say goddamn because I would have got banned.
So I think I'm coming to a realization here that Proudly Anti-Mask is like, Tangelo Grasshole account or something.
Oh, is he?
Because Agnostic Pagan Mom, if you remember recent streams where she was sharing with us some problems that she's something that she's had missing in her life for a while. I'm not going to go into details. And she commented on what they were talking about in chat and what I had said. I wish God would be in me more often. and then so Proudly Anti-Mask said, Agnostic Pagan Mom, go to Dinosaur Adventureland in Alabama and get God in you. So that's my first clue that Proudly Anti-Mask is not a serious account.
If the essence of all matter is God, poop is matter.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then so what Snake posted just above Stephanie's comment, Knox's.
God
came upon me. He's inside me.
Oh shit. Okay.
I have only one thing to say to that. Uka puka iki di bada andala shoto to kimi chikita hado and that's it. Shan anamana hana.
Speaking of tongues.
Who turned on Japanese Pornhub?
And that probably made even more sense. And it wasn't intended to.
I had with Argatha about biochemistry. It's like, God, kid, get a clue. It's like when you're in over your head, just shut up.
Wait a minute. What is this? Stephanie says it's only poop to you. No,
oh boy. Okay, Stephanie. Too much information, Stephanie.
Yeah.
TMI. Oh, from your reasoning. From my reasoning. Okay. I reason poop. Okay, guys.
Roses really smell like poo-poo, huh?
I'm going to go make dinner. I think everybody should, so I think we should end the broadcast. Anybody have any? So, Dak, when are you doing your stream tonight?
Yeah, it's scheduled for 10:25 p.m. Pacific time. So let's see, you're 2 hours after that. So it's gonna be like 11:25 p.m.
Shit,
if I've got that right.
12:25.
So it's late, and again, I don't expect anyone to show up, but I did like I said, I did one this morning, and maybe the gods were sleeping in, so give them another chance.
Well, if I'm having a insomniac moment, I'll stop in because.
All right. If not, it'll just be me again, probably. It's all right.
Can I? I want to have a final word.
Sure.
So tomorrow night I will be on Godless Granny's channel, and with part of the panel, and we will be talking. Everybody's supposed to bring their favorite geek topic. And my topic, of course, is going to be the original Star Trek series and all the effects it had on society and what have you. I mean, a lot of scientists were inspired by Star Trek, and we now have devices and different amenities in our lives thanks to the inspiration of Star Trek. And it also inspired the entertainment industry to create cool movies and cool TV shows based on it. So,
yep. Okay.
Cell phones.
It's 8:00 Eastern tomorrow night on Godless Granny.
Hey Scott, you've been pretty goddamn quiet. What the fuck? What did I pay you?
I've been trying to get some work done.
Oh, I see. Okay, I get it.
Oh, real quick on that thing I just said. I wrote this note down for tomorrow night, which was so cool. All right. I watched today or yesterday the episode from season 2 called Mirror Mirror, where they go to the parallel universe and they're on a different Enterprise and all that shit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so they're moving around the other Enterprise trying to figure out how to get back home. And Kirk says to his team, use your communicators for private messaging. And I just was like that. I thought that was so cool because we now all have a communicator in our pocket that we
right. Yeah, that is
private messaging. Yeah. Hey, Speed.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, since it's with the different time zones and stuff. If I do another one tomorrow morning, you think you might be able to show up for that before? Well, let's see. Is that before or after your show? If I do
my show is 12 o'clock.
That would be before yours. Yeah. Yours is noon, my time, 2 your time. So yeah. So if I do one at 10:25 a.m. here in the morning tomorrow, you think you might be able to make it to that one?
I might be able to. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll plan on that for episode 3.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not doing nothing tomorrow on Knox channel, Speed, but I will need you probably one more time this week.
Okay, good enough. Okay, guys.
So I got episode 3 planned now.
Okay, we're gonna shoot this in the head. Goodbye, cruel world.
Take care.
Later.